Welcome to another episode of Humanly Plausible. Now, welcome your hosts, Roly and Richard from Pink Studio Central.
We are live at Humanly Plausible. And,
yeah, where are you going to go with that? Go ahead.
I just was waiting to make sure you were ready. I want to make sure you had consumed your beverage. And we have our great guest, Anthony Rolon. Welcome to the set. Brooklyn's in the house.
That was our worst intro yet. So yeah, today we have the infamous Rolon, Anthony Rolon. Who are you and what do you do? That's how we start the show.
That's how we start the show?
Yeah, we keep it simple.
Keep it simple.
No, just give the folks an introduction of who you are. Obviously, he's a friend of ours, long-term friend and family member at this point.
Yes, indeed.
Absolutely. I'm Anthony Rolon. I'm the CEO and founder of YNot. YNot is a CRM for higher education. And I know these guys here for a long time.
What's a CRM? Because some people don't even know what that is.
It's a customer relationship management program.
There it is.
It's a software that allows people to communicate through voice, text, and email. Did
you know well, I'm sure you do know.
Yeah.
But he blew my mind when he told me that YNot was Tony backwards.
Oh, yeah. That's
how did I not even see that?
That's urban legend. And so now you're really in the group because you know that secret of the branding of what YNot is all about.
Because originally I was like, YNot was a cool name.
Yeah.
But then when he told me that, I was like,
it was excellent because it's, and then why not one
like
platform?
That's Illuminati stuff.
Yeah. Why not one platform for all of these different functions?
Yep.
Lead capture, contact management, and all the lead nurturing functions that YNot does bring to higher education institutions.
So as a close friend, how many Humanly Plausible shows have you seen?
Oh, man.
I've seen all of them.
Oh, my God.
That's awesome.
I hope the worst question comes out of there.
That's all the views we have is all Anthony.
That's it.
That explains the 8 clicks. All right. So
that's awesome.
Yeah. So so all the questions in here, you're going to pick a question out of the box. And
Perfect.
They're AI generated now because before we used to write the questions. So we have no idea they're all based on leadership, communication, and marketing. Yada, yada, yada.
All things that you excel in. So we should have
look
no
at that.
problem.
So what do you do?
Here we go.
So if the AI generated, is using an LLM inside of here?
No.
Okay, you did it before and then put it in. Okay,
Yes.
I'm just trying to figure this out.
Yeah, he's definitely a tech guy.
Yeah, he is.
I could either read this or I could just make up the question, but I'll read it.
Yeah.
What are the trends in content marketing and how can businesses stay ahead of the curve?
That's a good one. Content.
It is a good one.
We were talking about psychology before.
Yeah.
And so now this is about content. Let me see.
Yeah, content marketing.
This is actually one of the areas that you often talk about when it comes to your company.
So
what are the trends in content marketing, and how can businesses stay ahead of the curve?
So I think, especially when you talk about why not, just connecting the dots there, is lead nurturing and content in terms of the lead nurturing process. What are you seeing in terms of schools, enhancing their lead nurturing workflows with good content?
Yeah, I think, as we know, most of the country, the world is focused on AI. Mm-hmm. And I think that's really playing a large role. And I think, for some businesses that are getting it right, they understand that AI alone is not going to solve the problem. It's the human side that really having the subject matter expert that understands, it's like putting the three of us into a room. And I would say, if we were trying to produce content on the branding side, then, Roly, you would be the agent, if you want to call it, the AI agent that's responsible for building that model.
Right.
Richard would be the marketing arm, and in this trio, I would say I would be the sales agent, and creating I don't want to call it a AI focused content, but doing it that way through subject matter experts, I would say. So I think a lot of those that are getting it right understand that, and those that are missing it are going in and trying to produce, write a prompt and say, hey, I want to search for, the content in this area, but the prompt isn't long enough, and they don't have the background to actually produce it.
Context.
Right.
Context with AI is so important in terms of the prompt, especially in agentic AI. You know, absolutely. Yeah.
So, Rich, as far as latest trends in content.
You know, it's funny. I don't know if it's a trend.
Where do you want to go? Because there's
so
many.
As a best practice.
Well, let's talk about trends and what companies are utilizing effectively. Because I don't want to talk about what's really not working.
Well, no, this is what the trends for the successful companies is consistency.
Okay.
And consistency in their storytelling and content production, and also a trend is using your original content to generate user-generated content. Because when your consumers and when your stakeholders are contributing organically to your content, for example, submitting their own videos of themselves using your product or unboxing and things of that nature, there's a new level of credibility that you get because the public that's seeing this is not only seeing the organizational driven content, which of course you're going to send the message that you want to send, but now the users of your product or service are generating their own content that's being put on your platform, which is giving you the additional, what I'd like to say is objective content in which they're just supporting your brand because they like it. And so much so that they took the time to create supportive content on your behalf. So that's a huge trend. And I think any brand that can get that type of user-generated content to supplement what they're generating as content, you're really showing a real sort of universal appeal and credibility that goes beyond, we say we're good, because now your consumers is telling you, yes, we back that up. You are good.
Well, the big word here is being authentic as well. I mean, I think that's where we start. I say in the past 6 months where we've pivoted into where it comes to content creation is how do we like deep dive into this content or like, let's say a marketing campaign and start to develop different arms and different things that we can pull from that as far as where we can lead the social media into, and how do we take a video and produce many, like a lot of people now what they do is they'll do I know you've probably seen it where they do a video production. And now, not only are you hiring the folks that are filming the video, now you hire another crew that's filming the folks filming the video.
Right.
And soon we're going to add another layer. The filmers filming the filming film. It's like, what? And so, but that's a good example of how you can repurpose an opportunity.
Yeah.
But none of that means anything if it's not true and authentic.
Yeah.
And so that's what sits with us at our core is that we're trying to find the unique value of these clients. But a good example is what the president can do with content and how he can move just the media with content, putting a story out there and then driving it. And so if anything, he's a good person on how to move storylines around. And not that I want to get into any politics because I'm not.
Yeah, because I was not going to comment at all.
Richard is looking at me like,
where's this going?
Richard is like, where are you going with this? I said president.
I was going to say,
you say which president?
I didn't say which president. I could be talking about Lincoln for all we know. How he can move media. And what that looks like.
So
I'm trying to stay on. On topic here.
Inside joke, guys. Inside joke. We're good. So
because I want the audience to hear more about from our perspectives what we're seeing as trends that are happening right now in marketing and content marketing, how people potentially are using social media for the most part because this is what's been the easiest to access because there's organic and then there's paid.
Yeah.
And so I think for the most part, this conversation is more about creating organic, or maybe not.
I think it's a combination, and especially, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, and going back to kind of the user-generated content, and, for example.
And maybe we can steer it into education, because that's okay.
Exactly the pivot I was about to make. You all up in here, man.
Sorry.
So we have, of course, my relationship with Anthony goes back to higher education and higher education marketing. And one of the things we talk about user-generated content in the world of, let's say, career colleges and proprietary education, where you want to show, outcomes of your alumni. And it's one of the vulnerabilities of our sector in terms of you find more stronger alumni connections in traditional universities.
Yeah.
And it's a great opportunity for that user-generated content for example, if you had your alumni to share, and Anthony, you can appreciate this, a day in the life in their new career. And they're working now. They've benefited from the education. They're working and taking people through what it was like now that they've gotten this job in electrical technician, or they are now a surgical tech, and a day in the life of them, and having that being able to be distributed by the college. And then even, let's say, as a surgical tech lead now, I get a little piece through my lead nurturing, or through the institution's lead nurturing, that shows, here's one of our graduates showing you what a day in the life of a surgical tech looks like as part of the content. I think that's the way good content strategy can be used to leverage, especially in higher education, student outcomes, alumni, success stories, and things of that nature, which I don't think we do enough of in certain sectors of higher education.
Right, which that's what I was just going to say, that it's more often than not, there's no really presence of that. I think there's just some the really good ones that I think are doing like maybe clever advertising, where it's like, cool looking stuff. I mean, I ain't going to say clever because it's not clever. It's just visually appealing stuff. Right. So
good point.
But like, what do you guys think as far as like, just aesthetics? But I don't really know a lot versus like, let's say, I'm not going to call out names because I'm not going to plug anybody for free here, but I can name one off the top of my head, career colleges that are doing it well and they have a really strong brand. And these are primarily the ones that we see advertised a lot. Yeah. But maybe out of like, let's say out of 10, how many are doing it right? What's the percentage? I wouldn't even think it's 5.
What do you think, Anthony?
I think the percentage is low. Yeah. I think the days, and I think something that you pointed to, I think that the days of putting up an image of students in cap and gowns.
Yes, I'm glad you brought that up.
And using that on the website or using it on the advertising of marketing materials too. Yeah. Those days are over, right? They're not really getting the traction where if you have a student who graduated from a cosmetology program, who's running their own salon, who's doing it and posting that story, and sharing those stories, those are the ones that are getting picked. And you see some of those. You'll see. I get to see a lot of the leads that are generated, for our clients because they're going to our system first. Right. And I can tell you the ones that are doing it right. At first I was like, how is it possible this school is generating, hundreds and hundreds of Facebook leads? Right. And it's happening because they're doing it right. Yeah. So
it's it really comes down to creating the content. Go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say, like, as far as our experiences together, when I first started doing work with Tribeca, remember how we did the whole rebrand? So we met. Anthony hired Pink to do a rebrand for his company at the time, Tribeca, which specifically marketed to students, right? Yeah. So I used to tell Richard all the time, I'm not sure I told you much, but where like just the visuals of what you guys were getting to market to push for your campaigns, half of the time were awful. And it was like, what? And not because you guys were creating it, it was because some of these clients were handing you guys already creative and you guys were doing the lead marketing for them. And so I always saw that and I was like, oh my God, I can't believe that even works. Because to me, that was more about being in somebody's face versus speaking to them. Right? Yeah. Which is, hey, look at me, versus like, hey, let's talk.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
so I bring this up because I wanted to take you guys there and then maybe you can shed some light on that.
It's interesting because having been like growing up in higher ed as an operating administrator, then going to higher ed marketing on the lead generation digital side, but now coming and being more involved in the branding and storytelling, it's so much more apparent what a lost opportunity it is if you're just, and like Anthony couldn't have said it any clearer. Those days are dead. There used to be just this formula. You'd show the young lady in a scrub saying, become a medical assistant in 8 to 12 months. Call such and such and such a person. Mm-hmm. And that was pretty much the formula for every single ad that you had in the space. I think understanding that the value of higher education is under scrutiny is also pushing the needle in terms of how you storytell and build value. Because when you look at all the data points, people are finding alternatives to traditional education at the higher education level. There are some companies that don't even require a degree anymore in order to get involved, because you can get certifications and short courses, Coursera, Udemy, all these different type of providers. So institutions have got to, this question is extremely important if you are a brick and mortar institution or even an online institution, in terms of how do you create a content strategy in your marketing dynamic that engages and facilitates a high conversion rate, because you are clearly establishing value of the investment of time and resource in becoming a student and a future graduate there.
He's so good at asking these big ass questions that you're like, wait a second, like, what'd you say? What was that part again?
Write that down.
But no, I totally got the question.
Yeah.
I wanted to take that question and frame it in with quantity versus quality, because obviously you're managing lead or CRM system. There's in today's world, how's the balance of quality and quantity from like what you're seeing right now? Like, what's trending right now? Like, are they still chasing? Yeah, I want to make sure I get 100 leads, or are they more concerned with, I want to make sure I close 5 students a month? Like, I mean, what's that?
That's a great lead in for a couple of reasons. Number one, the fact is, quality is the number one topic,
of course,
right? Because again, going back, the days of generating 10,000 leads and 8,000 of those leads converting at less than 1% does not make sense. Yeah. The burnout for admissions, the amount of infrastructure that it takes to manage that volume, and is the squeeze worth the juice? The answer would be no. So a lot of institutions, it took them a long time to understand that there's no benefit in wasting all that money, all the resources, just to get that 1.5% conversion. Where if they are focused on higher converting leads, and through, it may be a long tail, through content or through organic social, but they're getting better results. So if you ask me today, part of that is being smarter, right, and looking at better ways to generate and be more authentic. So. That leads me into, one of the things that we're launching is our AI Insights tool, which is really taking all of that data, right? Not only the data from the CRM, but taking the data from their SIS platform, taking all that data combined, and then really showing the story and where the opportunities lie, right? And they don't have to guess, right? So that the information is right in front of them.
And just FYI, SIS, Student Information System.
Yes.
Yeah. I think, and that's where the strategy comes in. And I think, what were you seeing which prompted you to really start to focus on that AI insights to enhance the outcomes for your clients?
I think using AI, using ChatGPT, using Claude, and individually getting results and identifying that, obviously everybody has access to these platforms. But it takes time to build the right system, and so you can take a spreadsheet, dump it into Claude, and ask it a question and say, "Hey, here's my P&L. Provide me insights to what I could be doing to grow my business." You're probably going to get the wrong answer the first couple of times because it doesn't have enough information. Yeah. So it's like if I could take 50 sources now, whether it's and dump all this data into the platform, and I'm capturing all that data, and over time I'm seeing trends. Yeah. Now I ask the prompt and I ask the question. Right. Now I'm going to get a result that I wouldn't have gotten 6 months ago. So part of what you're saying, what made us go in this direction is that we know that the power of AI is only going to get better, stronger. So therefore we have to make that shift sooner than later.
That's outstanding. And I definitely see how that benefits, because you're adding the context of the whole student journey, because typically it's almost like lead generation analysis was all front end.
Right.
Yeah, all the KPIs that were being measured were all about click-through rates, conversions, and probably going up to starts, right? Yep. Yeah. But now you're looking, when you connect it to the student information, and system, and seeing, the I guess the profile of those as they go down the student journey all the way to graduation. How do we get more of those versus just leads? Yeah. That's great. Yeah.
All right. So closing thoughts, and kind of coming back to our question about content marketing, latest trends, and how can companies stay ahead of the curve? Like, what are some of your thoughts, or at least some small tidbit of advice that
I'm gonna kind of piggyback on,
or you can say whatever
the insights. I think looking at insights contextually, is going to be very important. Just like how Anthony is optimizing YNot to do just that, because so much information can come from that. Because as us creating content, imagine if we have a client that has YNot as a CRM that has this whole continuum of data points that give them insights that really profiles the persona of the best type of lead.
Well, that's a good example of what market research does for us. When we have market research, that's when we can look at that and then.
But I think this is even better than market research, because market research.
No, I'm saying it's an example of.
Yeah, but with that particular client now, you can drill down to what are the characteristics of the lead profile of a person that starts and graduates, and goes up to that, and then content can be created to support that marketing strategy.
I think taking all of this, right? Think of being able to produce content real time.
Yeah,
that talks to you differently than it talks to you or right? And that's going to be, I think, when you can put that type of platform together that's unique in that way, that's going to be something that businesses should be looking to do. I'm saying, that it's content that is AI driven, and part of it is AI driven with the human touch that's focused, and it's, to a single person is focused on that individual. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, I guess I'll summarize it with resources. As a business owner, one of the things that you always need to be looking at is what resources do I have accessible to me? If AI is one, do I have a CRM? Do I have, somebody that can help me do some of these things? Because I think a lot of times people feel that, or at least business owners, small business owners feel like they have to do everything. And sometimes they are. So I think the first thing you need to utilize is what do I have accessible to me? And then again, always, I guess I'm always leading with strategy. It's always a plan for me because my brain works that way. But again, I guess I've been so used to working, for myself that it all starts with a plan or a vision, then a plan. All right, so appreciate it. Thank you, Anthony, for jumping on, and great conversation.
Anthony,
thank you, brother. Thank you.
Find out
we're gonna have Anthony's information on our page, but tell them where they can find you.
YNOTONE.com. YNot1.com.